and protect the most vulnerable. In other words, a brighter future for all New Zealanders.
David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I wish to acknowledge and congratulate our Speaker-elect, David Carter, on his role, and wish him all the best in that role. We look forward to seeing him progress in that position over the next few years. This debate is a very important one because it sets out the philosophical differences between the two political parties that represent the two main parties of this parliament. And on one side you have the National Party in government with our great Prime Minister, the Right Honourable John Key, doing the right thing by New Zealand. And on the other side you have the Labour Party, a party of envy, a party distraught in itself about who its leadership actually is, a party looking for itself in the mirror but can't find itself there. And then you have, on the heels of that, you have the smaller parties like New Zealand First and the Green Party there. New Zealand First beaming at the thought of being in Parliament for another 3 years. Don't actually care if they do anything, but just for the fact that they're here, that's enough for them. And the Green Party sitting there, diligent as ever, but completely misrepresenting the public as to what they stand for and what they want for this country going forward. And it's a shame that politics becomes a battle of perceptions. And we think in this Parliament that it is a matter of perception and it's advertising. It's like Coke against Pepsi, isn't it? You know, National against Labour, but it's not really actually. The public out there are much smarter than we think. They can see through the perceptions and the facades on the other side. They know that the Labour Party and the Green Party and the New Zealand First Party don't actually stand for what's right for New Zealanders. They know that those parties won't do the right thing for this country going forward, and they don't vote for them. It's that simple. The public out there look beyond the perceptions that this House tries to portray and looks at the realities of the policies and determines that those opposition parties don't have a plan, they don't have the people, and they don't have the resources to actually do what the people out there actually want. What the people actually want is what this government is delivering. They want good, solid management that's going to direct this country through very difficult economic times. They want a government that cares around social and health and education issues. They want a government that's interested in our people and especially our young people's future. They want a country and a government that builds a stronger country going forward so that future generations of New Zealanders have the opportunities and the ability to live in a first-class country going forward. They know they're getting that from the national government. They voted us in because they knew our plan. They like it and they want to keep it going. And this is the New Zealand First Party keeps on talking about people going to Australia. Well, that's the competitive pressure that we have. You know, we can't avoid it. You know, we live right beside Australia. That's right, we have a competitive pressure there. But that means that New Zealanders and the New Zealand government has to step up. And the opposition wants to do exactly the opposite. They want the New Zealand First Party wants to create Fortress New Zealand. They don't want anybody coming into New Zealand. They don't want anybody leaving New Zealand. They just see it as a fortress that will survive. Well, that's completely irrational, not going to happen, never happened in world history. The Labour Party, on the other hand, is saying, well, why aren't you doing something? What are you doing? Well, we have got a plan, and the plan is something that the public see, and it's about investing in this country going forward. And you want to see the plan? I'll tell you the plan. Come to Hamilton and you'll see the plan. Because Hamilton is going ahead, and it's doing really well. And you know why it's going ahead? It's getting a bypass, exactly. The New Zealand First Party, 10 points, the golden star to the New Zealand First Party for getting it right. The government is building the infrastructure that enables Hamilton to take advantage of its biggest opportunity, which is Auckland. It's linking Hamilton to Auckland. Just like New Zealand needs to link with Asia. Our opportunity in the future are those big Asian economies that will direct a lot of money around this part of the world. If we don't link into those countries, we will miss out our opportunity. Sky City Casino, another thing that the New Zealand First Party doesn't want to see happen. It brings jobs into New Zealand, but you don't want to see it happen. When we look at it, the issue that the Labour Party and the opposition have tried to promote over the last couple of months has been housing. That's what they've been saying. They've been pushing the housing button. Well, let's have a look at it. We live in the Pacific Rim beside the richest countries that will be on this planet for the next 100 years. Australia, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Indonesia. Those are the countries that will pump out the wealth of this world for the next 100 years. And if the New Zealand public and the opposition thinks that there will not be some impact on the New Zealand economy from being right beside those countries, then we are being naive. We will need to be able to play the game with those countries. We will need to be able to have a world-class education system so our young people can grow up and compete. And we will have to compete on our assets as well. We will have to pay the price for housing. There will be no free rides in this world. There is no fortress mentality that you can say that New Zealand lives in a different world. We want to be in that world. We want to be in a world where our children can aspire to getting good jobs, can aspire to get good income, can aspire to having their own home, because in that way they will be living the first world dream. And if we don't aspire to that, if we think that we can dumb our economy down, if we think that we can dumb our people down, and we think that we can deliver houses for $300,000, then you are dreaming. Get in the real world. We need to compete. And that is the challenge that New Zealanders understand. That is the challenge that the New Zealand Government National Party understands. That is the challenge that the opposition denies. They deny the challenge of this world and they deny the challenge of our people. And that is why they will suffer in the polls in 2014, because they don't understand the reality of what our people are going through and the challenges in front of our country. But don't look at it as a challenge. It's not a challenge. It is an opportunity, because the real opportunity for us is to succeed. If we succeed, and with those countries in the next 100 years, New Zealand can be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. That is the crossroads we have in front of us now. To accept the challenge and succeed, or to try and put up some walls and say it's too hard, we're not part of that. And that is the choice that the public has out there. And we have young people watching from the gallery today. They have that choice today. Their choice is to get a good education and make the most of their opportunities. Or their choice is not to get a good education and think that it's going to come their way. Well, it's a different world from when we all grew up. The world that you grew up in will not give you that choice. You will have to make the right choices, and that involves getting that education, doing that hard work, because there will be no second chance. And the opposition believes that there is some pot of gold that will suddenly deliver that for them. And the New Zealand First Party talks about the bypass. Well, it's linking Hamilton to Auckland like New Zealand will be linked to China and those other countries going forward. Hamilton is doing well because we understand the future. We're not afraid to take those challenges. We've invested in those challenges. We've put money into the broadband. We've put money into the university. We've put money into the hospital. We've put money into the infrastructure. My colleagues from the north look with envy on us, but we've done it, and we are succeeding. And that is the future of New Zealand, just like it is for the future of my city. And I look forward to this government carrying on through this term and delivering that future, because it is a strong future, it is the right future, and it is the only future which will enable our younger generations to actually succeed in the modern world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chris Farford.